Today we're taking a closer look at two iconic titles, Halo Combat Evolved and Metroid Prime. Separated by only a year of their release dates, these games sparked fierce debates amongst gamers. And today we're diving in to which one, in retrospect, holds up better. Maybe this is a comparison between apples and oranges, but this is the internet. Let's say some stupid stuff and let's go. Let's get into it. In 2001, when Microsoft announced the Xbox, many scoffed at the entry into the console wars. I mean, Xbox really? Sounds more like a placeholder than a game changer. But competing against the Nintendo GameCube, which let's admit, wasn't the best named console either, the Xbox introduced us to Halo Combat Evolved. This was more than just a game. It was a revolution, an FPS masterpiece. Its multiplayer set new standards. With 4 consoles linked, 60-player matches became legendary, turning weekend LAN parties into epic gaming marathons. So Nintendo launched the GameCube, and guess what? It didn't launch with Mario. They gave us Luigi's Mansion instead, which was cool and all, but it wasn't the powerhouse that Mario was for the Nintendo 64's launch. The GameCube launched with some pretty good games though, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, Pikmin, Wave Race, but they were missing a killer app like Mario big time. And after seeing Halo, everyone was looking forward to the first-person shooter by Nintendo, Metroid Prime. Everyone had been playing GoldenEye 007 for the 64, and that established a way to play first-person shooters. But Halo was weird. Halo wanted you to use 2 thumbsticks, one to move around with, and one to aim. Halo knew exactly how you should play with a controller. Consoles had 2 sticks since the original PlayStation 1, but no one knew what it was for. Ape Escape thought that it should be used to catch monkeys. The shooters on the N64 and PlayStation used only 1 analog stick. Why did games ever need more than one? Halo's controls were genius. It made everyone's brain evolve into the ultimate killing machine. Sure, PC gamers are crying right now saying they had similar controls forever. But come on, shooters on the PC are just glorified point-and-click adventure games. You don't feel cool killing something on PC. It's like intense opening icons on your desktop. Yeah, let me click on this head. I'm the best. Nintendo was the king of game controls. Their games, always spot on, like they had some sort of magic touch. And their controllers, weird as all get out, but somehow, they felt great. And the GameCube controller had the best trigger ever made. You'd think with an extra year after Halo's launch, Nintendo would look at Halo's controls, give a knowing nod, and just nail it with Metroid Prime. But oh boy, did they trip over their own controller cords. They took the glorious A button, the huge one front and center, and made it for shooting. Not the smooth trigger that was just begging to be used for shooting. And the jump, the tiny B button. It was all backwards. Every time you tried jumping or shooting, it felt like you were patting your head and rubbing your belly while riding a unicycle. Critics defended Nintendo's decisions, saying that it was a different type of game than Halo. But they had all that time to learn from the experts, and they botched it worse than my grandma's knee surgery. Halo Combat Evolved is memorable, not just for its gameplay, but also its open world-like levels, and a compelling narrative. It had large linear levels, but they didn't feel linear. There weren't many enemy varieties, but when they do introduce a couple new ones, it changes the game completely. The combat felt fantastic. I loved using the plasma pistol, freezing an enemy in place. I had already mentioned the multiplayer. It was so awesome. Halo had this interesting mechanic that made it so that you could only carry 2 weapons at a time. Metroid Prime had so much hype going into it. The last time Metroid was on a console was the Super Nintendo. It skipped the Nintendo 64, but it was coming to the GameCube. Metroid Prime was a visual masterpiece. The environments were so organic. The foliage and little details really set this game apart from everything that I'd seen before. Metroid didn't have levels. It was an enormous, expansive environment that you would explore and find upgrades to your suit to progress through all the levels. But this game didn't have multiplayer at all. This didn't make sense, especially since GoldenEye 007's multiplayer was so popular for them in the past. How did they give us this badass first-person shooter and no way to kill each other? Both Halo and Metroid Prime have been remade, and I kinda hate the look of Halo Combat Evolved's remake. I love that you can toggle in between the old and new look. For some reason, the game doesn't feel right in the new graphics. The upgrades kill the mood for some of the levels. Metroid Prime's remake is awesome. It finally updated the controls. And look what they did! They incorporated Halo's controls, and it is now the default way to play the game.
You little bugs don't stand a freaking chance now.
And it feels great. There are still problems with the aiming. It kind of auto-aims a little too hard. Like here, I want to shoot the back side of this enemy, but it keeps hitting the face. Come on, hit the butt! The butt! Halo has made a ton of games, but only because it's been selling well. Well, that is until their most recent game, Halo Infinite. According to the numbers, last year, the game only sold 2 million copies. Now, Xbox has been doing their whole Game Pass thing, so there could be a lot of subscribers that Halo Infinite brought in. The multiplayer was free to play, but they didn't update it quick enough, and a lot of people lost interest fast. There will definitely be more Halo games in the future, but when? It's really hard to say. The Metroid Prime games haven't sold the best, but Nintendo has teased Metroid Prime 4. But will it outsell Halo? Will it take inspiration from Halo? Will it finally have multiplayer? I have no idea. Everyone wants Halo to play like their Halo, but is that realistic? I personally want to play Halo Combat Evolved with better netcode and add in some of these new maps from some of the newer games. But for the devs at 343, this wasn't their Halo, so I guess I'm out of luck. I think Metroid is more timeless. Ironically, because it doesn't have multiplayer, and thus avoiding all the Halo drama which the fan base is fighting over which multiplayer is best. It is a solid single-player experience, and now that it has modern controls, and by that I mean it finally copied Halo's dual-stick setup, it is a game that is easy to pick up and play. I'll probably be playing both these games for another 22 years. I'll see what I think when they get another remake. Don't think that it won't happen, because it will. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out. If you want to check out my Twitch, there's a link below. And if you want to see my other reviews, they're right over here. Thanks guys, see ya!